Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Today is the celebration of the Chira Doi Mahotsava. This is the original festival. It's described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that one of the famous great devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath. 6 Goswamis. So, Raghunath Das Goswami was born into a very, very rich family. But from his early age, he wanted to run away from home and join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was again and again running away, and his father would send some watchmen to go and catch him and bring him back. Now, I was saying yesterday in the lecture that one should follow one's parents. This is the culture. But there may be some exception to that. That if the parents try to stop us serving Krishna, then we should understand who is our real father and serve Krishna. So anyway, after some time, Raghunath Das Goswami saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him to go home and remain at home for some time. And when the situation is right, then you can come. So Raghunath Das was living at home amidst tremendous opulence. But he was just thinking, how can I leave this materialistic situation and join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And actually, when he did join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became the most renounced. So, I'm just making it very brief here, it's a long story. So, Nityananda Prabhu was on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order, travelling from place to place in Bengal, preaching Krishna consciousness. And he came to Panihati, which is a place on the bank of the Ganga. Now that's practically merged with Calcutta. At that time it was a village, there was no Calcutta at that time. So wherever Nityananda Prabhu went, he would go with all his associates and they'd have lots of kirtan and it would be a festival. Now Raghunath Das, who lived on the other side of the Ganga, further north than that, he got news that Nityananda Prabhu has come with all his associates. So he got permission from his father to come to see Nityananda Prabhu. And so he came, and from a distance he was offering obeisances to Nityananda Prabhu. So just like Nityananda Prabhu had many men around him, so Raghunath Das, being a rich man, he also had so many retainers with him. So Nityananda saw someone from a distance offering. He said, who's that offering obeisances at a distance? And they told, that is Raghunath Das. So Nityananda said, bring him here. And Raghunath Das was reluctant to come because he thought, I'm very fallen. Nityananda, who's always very humorous in his behavior, brought him by force and put his foot on his head and said that you're just like a thief, keeping at a long distance as if you're afraid. So I'm going to give you a fine. Fine. Jarmana in Hindi. In Hindi it's called Jarmana. No, a fine means you have to pay some money.
Yeah.
There must be a word for that.
Yeah, we use this aparada.
Oh, is it? So he said you have to feed all the people here. Because he's a rich man, he can do. So Raghunath Das was very happy. He had the opportunity to do Vaishnav Seva. So anyway, it's a village, and how are you going to organize? You can't organize cooking on the spot. So they arranged that from all the local shopkeepers, they took this chipped rice and bananas. There's plenty of bananas in Bengal. And yogurt and so many pots. So Raghunath Das arranged through his men, you bring from all the local shopkeepers all these pots and chira and dahi and condensed milk. You can purchase from the shop condensed milk and bananas like this. And they distributed to everyone pot and the chipped rice, and you have to take yourself and soak in the Ganga water like this and then mix it with the yogurt. And gradually people from around, they got to hear, oh, there's some festival, they're distributing prasadam. So more and more people came. That was my experience when I was in Bengal, that it's mostly all village, not so many towns, in Bangladesh especially. So you can just go to some place and stop and there'll be no people there, and then within 10 minutes you'll find a huge crowd has gathered. Because you see there's some clump of coconut trees, you see, and actually there's a whole residential area there. It looks like just some trees, but there's so many people living there. So, more and more people were coming, and Raghunath Das was very happy. Yes, feed them all. The shopkeepers sold everything they had, then they come and joined the festival and took the same items that they'd sold were given to them also. So that way it became a very happy festival. And Nityananda Prabhu, he thought this is such a nice festival, it would be nice if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be here. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was residing in Puri, but by his meditation, Nityananda brought Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there. There were so many people taking prasadam. There became no place on the bank of the Ganga for soaking the water. So some people were going, there was no place, so they went down into the water itself. In that way only they could get the water. So there were so many people taking prasadam. Nityananda, he took Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No one could see, only Nityananda and Raghunath Das could see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was here. All the devotees who were taking prasad, they were taking from their pot, and Nityananda would take from them. And Nityananda himself was taking his own devotees' prasadam and pushing a little bit into the mouth of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they were laughing and laughing. So festival means happy. Everyone happy in Krishna consciousness. So this is a nice festival. Materialistic people like to have picnics. So this is a spiritual picnic with Gaurnitai. Of course, we are accustomed to living in the city, and we come in the country and we think this is very nice, but traditionally most people live in the country. Peaceful life. But now you see they brought the hellish noise of the city here. Nowadays in India, in the villages, people are not peaceful because they're all they're same as the city. They're just thinking about money, and no one wants to cooperate, and it's so much politics. They're all drinking. So the effect of Kali Yuga is there. So town, village, everywhere we want to teach and preach this Krishna consciousness by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, and all the Acharyas and Srila Prabhupada. So there will be Chira Doi. Doi is Bengali for Dahi. That will be distributed, presumably. Just one word I wanted to say about deity worship. We should be deity worship has to be to proper standard. Among my disciples, I don't encourage them to do deity worship unless you're going to do it in a very first-class manner. Everything should be first class. We can worship the Lord in the form of the name. Kayate shuite jata tata namaloi deshakala niyam nahi sarva siddhi. In the worship of the holy name, there's no consideration of place, time, circumstance. Even when we're eating, even when we're lying down, in any circumstance we can chant the holy names. And by chanting we can attain all perfection. But in deity worship there are many considerations, rules, regulations. Everything should be very clean. There are so many small rules we have to know. Just like if your nail touches water, you can't use that. That's all contaminated. That's why for deity worship one should be Brahmin initiated. That means one should know what to do, what not to do, all these things. The Gaurnitai are very merciful, no doubt. But that doesn't mean that we should treat them because they are merciful doesn't mean that we should mistreat them. The understanding that Gaurnitai is merciful doesn't mean that we have a license to just treat them neglectfully. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah, we'll have Arati.